Hi, Rod here. I hope you're doing great. Here's what we have going on today. My tagline, the promise I make to coaching clients, is to turn the practice you have into the practice you want. Now, I realize that me just saying those words may sound a bit abstract, because what does that tagline mean exactly? And how do you do it? Well, I created a model to show you what to think about and how to do it. Let's dive in. Turn the practice you want into the practice you have. Two things going on here. First, I tell my clients that I don't care what the practice they want is. I only care that it is what they want and that they're brave enough to go after it. Second, your version of success, of getting the practice you want, is going to be different from everyone else's. I have one coaching client who told me his version of success is not having to work during the months of October and November. Hey, if that's what he wants, I think that's pretty cool. The curves that you see in the background of this image make it pretty clear that turning the practice you have into the practice you want isn't going to happen without some deliberate thought and action on your part. So, enter the practice you want mixing desk. And as the caption says, let's think of the options that you have in your practice like a sound equalizer board. And you have the ability to move the slides or sliders to get to the right mix of the practice that you want. I created this example with 8 different criteria or options that may be relatively important to you. The first one is, do you want your practice to lean more towards what I say straight business valuation or more towards litigation support? Next, do you want to be known for being more of a generalist or a specialist in a specific practice area or industry niche? Do you want to do valuation services that are more compliance-based, like estate and gift tax work, fair value valuation work? Or do you want to do valuation services that are more creative, like for exit planning, as an example? Next, do you want to be a solo at one extreme, or do you want to work for a large firm at the other end of the spectrum? The next one is, do you or your firm, do you want to have a local presence or a regional or perhaps even a national presence? Given what's happened to everyone during the pandemic, do you want to be able to work from anywhere or work from the office? The services that you do, will most or some or most or all of them be done in-house, or are there some or several services that could be outsourced to a third party? And the last one is, do you want to do one-to-one client service work, sort of what we are all used to doing right now? Or do you want to create something that is more on the lines of one-to-many and that builds monthly recurring revenue? A few observations here. Number one, you can have as many criteria or options as you want. 3, 6, 10, it doesn't matter. Number two, you can label the options or the criteria whatever you want, as long as those criteria are important to you. And number three, it isn't all or nothing. The sliders slide to the level of just right to get to the practice mix of things that you want. If you like this concept, grab a screenshot of the model or draw your own diagram. think about what options or criteria matter most to you, and then how much or how little of each one that you want. That is the deliberate thought that I mentioned earlier. Then the next step is to take deliberate action. And it's not all at once deliberate action. All you need to do to get started is take small incremental steps that create momentum and move you in the direction you want to go. That's what I have for you today. I hope it's been useful. If you want more help turning the practice you have into the practice you want, now that you know what it means, message me with the word mix and we'll start a conversation.